I woke up to the clatter of metal and a chorus of voices, way too loud for a Saturday morning, thinking maybe the trash truck had lost its mind and shown up at dawn. But when I dragged myself to the window and peeked through the blinds, my heart slammed into my ribs. My backyard, my pride and joy with its neat grass and flower beds, was a full-blown wedding venue. White chairs lined up like soldiers, a rose-covered arch glinting in the sun, and Marissa Tate, the neighborhood's HOA dictator, strutting around like she'd just bought the place. I threw on a shirt, stormed out the back door, and marched right up to her, my voice cutting through the chatter. "Marissa, what the hell is this? Why is my yard a circus?" I'm Nate Harper, a regular guy who's spent years turning my corner lot in Cedar Point into a quiet haven, just outside the main grip of the Willow Creek HOA. That backyard's where I grill burgers, sip beers under the stars, and forget the world. My slice of peace, earned with sweat and calluses. But Marissa, she's the kind of neighbor who'd fine you for breathing too loud. She runs the HOA like it's her personal empire, slapping folks with rules she pulls out of thin air. Wrong mailbox color, too tall shrubs, you name it. I've dodged her nonsense for years, paying my dues to keep her off my back, but this was war. Marissa turned to me, flashing that fake smile that could curdle milk. "Oh, Nate, you're up. We were worried you'd snooze through the big day." I blinked, my jaw tight. "Big day? This is my yard, Marissa. Nobody asked me about a wedding." She waved me off, like I was a kid whining about bedtime. "Don't be dramatic, hon. It's just for a few hours, my daughter Claire's wedding. We sent notices ages ago. You should be flattered we picked your place for such a special moment." My blood boiled. Notices? I hadn't seen a damn thing, and her smug tone told me she knew it. I scanned the chaos. Caterers unloading in my driveway, a DJ rigging speakers by my fence, a freaking porta potty rolling onto my front lawn. "I don't care what you sent," I snapped. "You've got no right. Get this crap out now." Her smile hardened, eyes glinting like a snake's. "Oh, Nate, let's not make this ugly. Per HOA bylaws, we can use any suitable community space for events, and guess what? Your yard's perfect. Unless you want fines for, say, an unkempt lawn, unapproved fence paint, or those tacky patio lights." She trailed off, daring me to push back. I clenched my fists, feeling the weight of her threat. She'd weaponized the HOA to bully me into silence. The wedding was hours away, guests already trickling in, and fighting her head-on would just bury me in fake violations. I needed a plan, something she couldn't dodge. I spun around, stormed back inside, and slammed the door, my brain racing. If Marissa wanted a show, she was going to get one she'd never forget. I paced my kitchen, coffee mug in a death grip, staring out at the bridesmaids giggling by my rose bushes, oblivious to the fact they were trespassing. Marissa had played this game for years, finding old lady Jenkins for a bird bath, docking Mike across the street for a non-compliant shed. But this was new, even for her, turning my yard into her daughter's dream venue without a word. My phone buzzed. Ellie, one of the few neighbors not drinking Marissa's Kool-Aid. "Nate, I heard," she said, voice low. "It's insane. You know why she did it, right? Word is she burned through the HOA's event budget on her own stuff. New deck, fancy trips. She couldn't afford a real venue, so she twisted some rule to make your yard her freebie." I gripped the phone tighter. Of course, Marissa wasn't just entitled. She was covering her tracks, using my property to hide her fraud. "Any way to stop this legally?" I asked. Ellie sighed. "She's got the board in her pocket. Ron, the president, just nods along. You'd need hard proof, and even then, she'll bury you in fines. You gotta hit her where it hurts." I hung up, my eyes landing on the garage door. That's when it hit me. The old sprinkler system, buried under the lawn, hooked to pipes so rusty the water came out like liquid mud, reeking of iron and filth. I never used it, switched to drip lines years ago, but those pipes were still there, waiting. A grin crept across my face. Marissa wanted a wedding? I'd give her one nobody would forget. I grabbed my toolbox and got to work, checking the sprinkler controls, making sure the valves would fire on command. The water was primed, stagnant for years, ready to turn my yard into a swamp. But timing was everything. I couldn't flood it too early, or Marissa would pivot. I needed to wait, let her think she'd won, hit her at the peak of her triumph, right when Claire walked down the aisle. As I tinkered, a knock at the door stopped me cold. It was Evan, the groom, in a tux, looking like he'd rather be anywhere else. "You Nate?" he asked, scratching his neck. "I'm Evan, Claire's fiancé. I didn't know this was your yard, man. Marissa said it was a booked venue. I'm sorry. She's been running this whole show, and Claire just wanted something small." I studied him, his eyes genuine but tired. "You know you're marrying in a crazy, right?" I said. He gave a weak laugh. "Yeah, I'm starting to see that. Look, I get why you're pissed, but Claire doesn't deserve to get crushed. Whatever you're planning, maybe go easy." I crossed my arms. "No promises, but I hear you." He nodded, defeated, and he shuffled back to the chaos. I watched Marissa from my window, greeting guests like she was hosting at a country club, her laugh grating, her confidence ironclad. She hadn't glanced my way, sure I'd caved. The yard was a bridal magazine spread, white tablecloths, crystal glassware, a cake towering by the arch kids from the bride's side, trampled my flower beds, their parents too busy sipping mimosas to care. My blood simmered, but I held steady, waiting. The DJ spun a soft tune, guests took their seats, and the bridesmaids lined up, giggling in pastel dresses. Marissa stood front and center, beaming like she'd pulled off the heist of the century. The music swelled, Claire's entrance imminent. My hand hovered over the sprinkler switch. Showtime. I flipped it. A low gurgle rumbled under the lawn, unnoticed at first. Then, boom! The sprinklers roared to life, spewing brown, stinking sludge in every direction. Guests screamed, their suits and dresses soaked in rusty muck. The front rows got it worst, scrambling as mud splattered their faces. Tablecloths turned gray. The cake sagged like a sad pancake, and the DJ's speakers fizzled with a pop. Bridesmaids slipped, clutching ruined heels, while old folks stumbled, cursing the swamp forming underfoot. Claire stepped out, radiant in white, only to freeze as a geyser hit her dress, staining it like a tie-dye disaster. She shrieked, lifting the hem, but it was done. Her gown was toast. Chaos erupted, pure and glorious. Marissa's face went from smug to horrified, her heels sinking as she slid toward the sprinklers, flailing to stay upright. She spun, eyes locking on my house, and charged my porch, mud flying. "You did this, Nate," she screamed, jabbing a finger. I leaned against the rail, cool as ice. "What, Marissa? Looks like a pipe burst. Maybe you shouldn't have picked a stranger's yard for your big day." Her fist shook, voice shrill. "You ruined Claire's wedding." I raised an eyebrow. "Did I? 'Cause I never signed up for this. You stole my yard, lied to everyone, and, oh yeah, blew the HOA budget on your own crap." The crowd, now filming on their phones, gasped. Claire, tears streaming, stomped over. "Mom, what's he talking about? You said this was booked." Marissa stammered, her mask cracking. "Sweetie, Claire cut her off, voice breaking. "You lied? This isn't a venue? You used his yard without asking." The whispers grew, guests, vendors, even Marissa's cronies, piecing it together. Evan stepped up, shaking his head. "Claire, I tried to ignore your mom's control, but this? Lying, stealing, dragging us into her mess. I can't do this." Claire's eyes widened. "You're leaving me? Now?" Evan sighed, rain-soaked hair plastered to his face. "There's no wedding left, and I'm not signing up for a lifetime of this." He walked off, the groom's family trailing, muttering disgust. "Marisa spoon, disperate." "Everyone calm down. We'll move inside." I laughed sharp. "Inside my house? Goo, get off my land, or I'm calling the cops." She froze, realizing she'd lost. Guests peeled out. Vendors bickered over ruined gear, and Marissa stood in the muck, her empire crumbling. Claire, sobbing, glared at her mom. "You ruined everything." As the last stragglers left, Marissa shot me a venomous look. "You'll pay for this, Nate." I grinned. "Think you're already paying, Marissa." I turned inside, leaving her in the swamp she'd made. By morning, the yard was a war zone, soggy napkins, wilted flowers, a leaning arch like a drunk uncle. I sipped coffee, savoring the quiet. Marissa's house was dark, curtains shut, rumors swirling she'd sell and skip town before the HOA audit hit. Ellie swung by, shaking her head at the mess. Heard the board's meeting tonight, talk of dissolving the HOA. Marissa's done. She'd spent years bullying us with fines, but one muddy wedding cracked her throne. The police had rolled up last night, called by a vendor stiffed on payment, asking about HOA fund misuse. Marissa had no answers, her smugness gone. Later, Evan stopped by looking lighter. "Thanks, man," he said. "You didn't just save your yard. You saved me from a nightmare. Claire's still reeling, but I'm out." I chuckled. No HOA rules for marriage, huh? He grinned. Section 5B. Groom's sanity comes first. The HOA meeting was set to vote on disbanding, and Ellie promised it'd be a circus. I'd be there, popcorn in hand, watching Marissa's legacy burn. That evening, I caught her slipping out her door, sunglasses hiding her face, speeding off like a fugitive. Maybe she was gone for good, maybe not, but Cedar Point felt different, freer, like we'd all woken up from her spell. I sat on my porch, the sun dipping low, my muddy yard a badge of victory. One night, one switch, and a lot of dirty water had done what years of complaints couldn't: topple the tyrant. But I wondered, how many Marissas are out there, scheming in other neighborhoods? And who's got the next sprinkler ready to flip? So what do you think? Was I too harsh, or did Marissa get what she deserved? Got an HOA horror story? Drop in the comments. I want to hear how you fought back, or if you'd have flooded that wedding too. Like, subscribe, and let's keep these tales rolling, because every backyard's got a fight worth telling.